point out that my mom had me at 15. The only option at that point is welfare or the street.
We were poor. We lived in the projects. We didn't even own a car.
I had a prostitution ring on my street corner. There were drug addicts in my alleyway.
Working class kid, growing up on the south side of Chicago, growing up with doubts and fears just like all of you
are.
are.
A very domestic violence home, and my mom is a very high yellow woman, so bruises show up on her very quickly.
When I was 14 years old, I became pregnant.
I was probably as poor as you can go without being homeless in the UK.
I had no prospects, I had no agent, I had no money.
I didn't come from that environment that just sets me up for success.
I was poor because I didn't have anything. I had no money, I had no things, we had no TV, we had no refrigerator, we had nothing as kids. But I was rich because I had a dream. I had a dream of becoming the greatest bodybuilder, and I had a dream to use bodybuilding as a means to get into films. But I had no idea that it would go as far as it did.
If I took you to where I grew up, the odds on me getting from there to here is not something you would have bet on. Don't allow anybody, friends, family, even your parents, to tell you you're aiming too high. Because if you look at my story, it's not a Hollywood movie, it's real, it's authentic, and it happened to me. I'm not smarter than anyone else, and it can happen to you.
I always say if I can do it, anyone can do it. And the reason that I always say that, because I didn't grow up with things being handed to me. I had to work hard, I had to dedicate myself, and I had to be determined, and I was.
When you see transition really start to happen, when you really want to transition to something, master, there's no limits. You know, don't let the world ever put limits on you. You can do anything you want to do, but make sure if you have a vision, make sure the vision is written.
People often want to call me the exception, like, oh my God, you're the exception. No, I'm not the exception. I'm an average, ordinary woman who chose every day to make one more extraordinary decision.
I have not allowed my disability to stop me doing most things. I feel a sense of achievement that I have managed to make these contributions, despite having ALS.
I feel like anybody can do anything they set their mind to. It depends on how bad you want it, and I wanted to do it. You know, at this stage of my life, I don't feel like there's too much that I can't do. I don't mean to sound cocky or nothing, but if I really, really want to do it, I don't give up that easy.
You have a good chance at making some of your wildest dreams come true. Most people don't even try, sadly. Most people try and then stop, give up. Very few people try and try and try, or do and do and do and do and never give up.
You have to realize that there's always work to do, and you want to be the hardest working person in whatever you do, and you'll put yourself in position to be successful. And you have to have a passion about what you do. And basketball was mine, and that's what's carried me to this point.
Conscience shouts, here's what you should do, while your intuition whispers, here's what you could do. Listen to that voice that tells you what you could do. Nothing will define your character more than that.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane.
Dedication, hard work. I'm a one-man army. One-man army. The world can go against me. I'm still coming on top. I got God on my side.
Out of night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole. I think whatever God there may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell collective circumstance, I have not cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of fate, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the shadow of the shade. Yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me, unafraid. matters not how straight the gate, how punishment charged the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
History is replete with the stories of strong-minded, resolutely willed individuals who, steadfastly holding to their inner convictions, have been able to inspire their fellow man, and in the face of tremendous and determined opposition have literally created out of nothing great businesses, huge empires, and new worlds.